Hey guys, Dan Kraus here again, working on the Mercedes. We're working on wiring and detrimming a few things. But yeah, I'm gonna just jump right into it on this video and hope you enjoy it. So there are 6 screws that you have to take out to get this cowl piece off. And the other thing about the cowl piece that I'm trying to take off there is the speedometer actually runs through, right through it. So you have to either notch it or take the speedometer cable out. And I didn't do that, I just notched it and was able to get around it there. You can see me doing right there. So I did this, I opened all of this up so that I could see all the wiring going into the fuse box. The fuse box is actually on the driver's side of the vehicle, but most of the wiring goes into the right side of the vehicle here where I'm working on. So that's why I've detrimmed it all, and I'm just pulling all these wires out and pulling them back. Not really cutting anything, I'm just moving things around. Alright, so the plan here is, you can see I got all of the shields and everything out of the way, so it's nice and open back here. So I can really come up with a plan of how I'm gonna tackle all of this wiring, because I need most of it. I need a lot of this wiring. The only wiring really I don't need is the one going to the actual engine. So, but they're all kind of interconnected, so it's gonna be a little confusing. I have to kind of dissect a few things at a time. But anyways, not worried about it. All this wiring here is gonna be tucked away behind a shield. I'm gonna make an aluminum shield that will go kind of across this way. And this is gonna be gone. I'm gonna just, cut the spot welds and take this piece right off because it's horribly ugly and I don't need it there. I also got my 8-foot Mega Squirt harness. So that's what it looks like. So what I got going on here is all this wiring has been, pushed back. I deleted a bunch of brackets that were in here. So you can see it's all nice and open here now. These wires all have to stay, but they are going to be they're going to go on the inside of on the outside actually of the fender apron area, and then run all the way along through here. And so I really don't like to see wires, so I'm gonna do my best to keep everything as clean as possible. But yes, so here, if you are wondering what this flask looking thing is, that is actually the relay for the fuel pump and the AC pump. So I will be using it still. So I'm just going to feed into the wiring that goes into that. So should work very nicely. And then this here is the ABS controller. So I was able to keep all of the wiring intact for that as well, and just deleted, let's grab this, the actual engine harness, which looks like this. So it is all integrated into the rest of the wiring there. So there's not like a quick disconnect plug or anything that you can do quickly, unfortunately. You have to dissect the wires, and then each wire that is snipped needs to be cleaned up at the end so that it doesn't cause any fires or anything like that. That'd be bad. Yes, so the next step really is to drill a hole through the firewall for the new wiring loom, and then I'm gonna have the new wiring loom kind of come through here behind that piece that goes to the firewall here in front of the engine, and then it will come straight out. And I might have it go underneath the intake to clean it up too as well. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. Wiring is going pretty well so far. So if you look down here, I actually found the perfect spot to go through the firewall for my wiring loom. And it's right there. You can see this here. So it's a big open hole. There's only one wire going through it. And I can just slit that at the end and make it bigger and pull my loom right through without having to drill anything into the firewall. So yeah, very happy about that. So I didn't want to drill into the firewall. Okay, so still a bit of a mess through here with the wiring, but I was able to notch this little seal and pull the new loom for the engine harness right through there. And yeah, so now I'm basically going to get these wires all laid out and start pulling each wire out individually and just allocating it to its appropriate location. So that's what I'm gonna do next. And the first one I'm gonna do, since all the way over here is where I need to tie into the fuel pump relay. Okay, so I'm going to go into the bottom of the fuel pump relay with this purple or violet wire. That is for the fuel pump kick on. So I'll basically pull this all the way back through and trim it up to where it's going to need to go. And I'm going to do that with each individual wire until I'm done. Okay, so I have the new wiring loom fitted through that grommet. Very nice, and you can see kind of how it's going to be routed. It's probably going to go underneath the intake back there. But anyways, I'm waiting for some more stuff to show up for the wiring. So in the meantime, I'm going to work on the other part of the wiring, which is going to be taking the wiring for the headlight and turn signals and stuff. And I'm going to take the fender off and then figure out a way to put all of this wiring in behind there. And as well, also going to be finding a solution for the power wire here and the ground, because normally those are mounted here on the shock tower. But obviously I don't want those wires going through here, so I'm going to cut this loom back and kind of dissect these and reroute them in a way that makes more sense. So I also decided to take the fender off here just to gain a little better access and see what I've got going on, where the exhaust is going to run through the apron here on the right side. So it's kind of hard to really see what I'm doing here, but I have a razor blade and I'm just cutting back the outside of the loom, being extremely careful not to cut any of the wires on the inside of the loom. I'm just cutting it back so that I can open up all of the wires, all of the wiring, and then I can move it to kind of wherever I want to without lengthening any of the wires. Most of the wires that you're looking at here, that red one with the 3 wires attached to it, that actually goes to a junction block, and it runs from the ignition to a junction block. So, and then the other wires there, all of the brown ones, those are ground wires. So I'm just moving things around, trying to get everything out of the way of that exhaust that's going to be running through there. So here I'm just removing the fender liner to gain more access and pull the expansion tank out. And actually the wiring is going to run right down kind of by that expansion tank. And so I'm just kind of mocking everything up, making sure that the wires are going to be long enough and everything is going to work correctly. So before I get too carried away with any more wiring nonsense, I'm going to go ahead and start doing some of the fabrication work on this right apron. So like I said before, that piece has got to come off. And so what I'm going to do is just go down through here and grind all the spot welds off and just pull that sucker right off of there. I'm using a mini belt sander from Cornwell Tools. They make a really good mini belt sander, one of the only ones I've used I really like. Comes really handy getting in small areas, as you can see. And there's a lot of seam sealer on this apron piece. And so basically you cut all the spot welds off, and then you just have to chisel through all of the remaining seam sealer that was put on there from the factory. There we go. All right, so you can see how this is looking way better with that piece gone. I got lots more room to mess around in here, and it'll just be way prettier. Obviously, I'm going to go through and take off all the seam sealer and grind it all down, and I've got some holes and stuff I need to patch up. But that won't take very long. It is a little rusty down there, but I think it's savable. If not, I'll just cut some pieces out and weld some new pieces in. Won't be a big problem, but you can see how I've got, I don't have the wiring laid out right now. I did have it pretty much set up where I want it at one point, but I started testing some more things out, and anyways, that's how it looks right now. It's definitely, making progress. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm still waiting on quite a bit of the wiring that I need to finish up and actually installing the Megasquirt ECU. I will do some more extensive videos on the actual wiring, actually wiring it into the car. Right now I'm just kind of cleaning things up, moving things around, figuring out what needs to go where. But I will explain that more thoroughly in later episodes once I get to that point. So the next few videos will probably be mostly on body work and a few little things here and there that I'm just kind of making work, so you'll have to just bear with me. I like to kind of do things all at the same time, so hopefully you can make sense of the videos. But anyways, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.